What's up, guys? DJI just announced the Avata drone. I'm a little butthurt that I didn't get an early version of this, but I did buy one with our own money, with the company credit card. This drone looks incredible. It's like incredibly small. It seems safer than any drone I've seen before. The propellers are actually covered. It's made to crash. It can right itself even if it's, flipped upside down. It comes with goggles, it's an option, but they're actually affordable now. So I'm thinking that this drone could be like the ultimate drone that, that's not 20 grand or whatever. It's actually affordable.
I know nothing about this drone yet, so I'm excited to react and see how this video sells us on a product we've already bought.
All right, let's check it out. All right, so I am not a drone expert by any means, but I have been using drones, DJI drones in fact, from the very beginning. DJI, before they were even a company, nobody had heard of them. They actually sent me their very first drone ever. And it didn't come with a camera. It came with a little piece of plastic that you would literally screw a GoPro into the bottom. And I think I immediately broke that one. It was like the first day I took it out, I destroyed it. Then they came out with a new one that had a small little gimbal that would like stabilize a GoPro.
Yep.
And that's what we took to Iceland, right? And so I did tons of drone footage there, but back in my day, we didn't have any sort of like first person view. We didn't have the goggles, we didn't have a screen. I would literally hit record on the GoPro, get the drone up in the air, and then I would like eyeball it where I wanna go, and then I would like whiz past the photographer's head that we were filming or whatever.
Yep.
Photographing the world is what we were filming.
And then you got a little more creative. We started calling it cowboying it, where you still couldn't necessarily see what you're doing, but you got a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
And then was it with the Mavic or was it with a Phantom 3 that we finally got control with the controller and video feed?
It was definitely a Phantom.
Okay.
that we were able to see what we were doing on a phone, and my mind was blown. I'm like, no way. And then after that, the Mavic came out, and it took something like the Phantom, and it made it a quarter of the size.
This was the first time that I had ever used the DJI Mavic, and we'll talk about it more in detail in later episodes, but I have to say, this was by far our favorite piece of new gear on this entire project.
Now, with the Avata here, we've moved into the first-person style of drone, where not only can this drone go like forward, backward, side to side, up and down, but this thing can like fly, like if you've ever seen footage of people going over the edge of a waterfall, or people doing these drone races. These are these first-person drones, and in many cases, people are wearing goggles because you have to have such incredible precision to be able to fly these things.
So correct me if I'm wrong, is the first person drones, is it different because you're wearing goggles, you're seeing a very slow latency, like you see real time, it's more nimble? But as a Mavic, it could probably still be that?
I think technically speaking, you're still seeing first person view out of every drone. But I think FPV drones, as the standard understanding is that it's these more nimble, acrobatic drones. I have never gotten into this. You certainly haven't gotten into this. And the reason is because one, they were super expensive. Two, I've always been afraid I'm gonna kill somebody. Like, these things go like 50 miles an hour, you're gonna run into somebody's head and, slice their throat open or something.
Many of them were also kind of toys, right? They didn't feel like professional options.
Like the video feed might not be the best out of them or whatever.
Right.
This one, to me, seems like the first one that is affordable and gets good quality and is safe.
Okay.
So it has everything that I've been looking for here. So the new goggles, I haven't used the old goggles yet, but the new goggles are much smaller. They actually look like something that would easily fit into a backpack, which is super important for me.
1080, is that a higher resolution than what we're used to?
I don't know. The other thing, this remote control looks crazy. I mean, it's like instead of having to master using multiple fingers and thumbs at the exact same time, it's like a 3D remote control that works by tilting your wrist.
You have an Oculus over here, right?
I do.
It reminds me of what you're doing when I walk in and you're playing your video games.
Yeah. I have never tried this. I'm so excited to give it a try for myself. Is it as intuitive and as easy to use as it needs to be for me to not, run into somebody? I mean, but look at this footage.
That's insane. Now, it just
So
it said 48 megapixels. So does that mean that you're capable of taking high quality photographs as well?
Yeah, I think.
That doesn't seem like what I would imagine with a first-person drone would be photography, but maybe it has all of it together now.
I think with a lot of these new sensors and these like smartphones and everything, they might actually be moving to a higher megapixel count. For years, the iPhone has been 12 megapixels. I think this new one that's supposed to come out in like a week or two is supposed to be a 48 megapixel sensor as well. And then by smashing down all of these pixels, they can actually create a cleaner image with less noise. That is 4K.
So this thing is 4K at 60 frames per second.
And look at it bouncing off walls and trees. It's crazy. It's my dream come true, man. I've hit so much stuff with our drone.
And the braking, I mean, that's incredible. It stops like right when you tell it to stop. What is
And then
this?
there's this. So like if you
Turtle mode.
if you wreck it and it flips upside down, it can even right itself back up, which is so crazy. I've seen other toy drones that can do that, but nothing like this that you can actually get, professional results.
How
with.
confident do you think you're going to be to actually take a drone and fly it into an abandoned, a window that's open in an abandoned building? Is this something you're going to be able to do easily, or is this still being done by professionals?
Well, and the other question that I have is, how in the world does the range work through concrete buildings and stuff? Like, how far can you possibly go before you lose connection and the drone, goes rogue?
Yeah. Obviously, our Wi-Fi here in these concrete buildings in Puerto Rico don't work very well.
Yeah, I can't even make it through one wall. Like, how in the world are you going to fly through multiple buildings? I see this first-person footage that people are releasing all the time, and I've always wondered, are you having to set up little, like, wireless nodes kind of on the path that you're going to go down? But I don't think so.
They don't sell anything like that, right? Is there a product?
I don't know.
that does it?
I have no idea. Like, this is a totally new industry for me. It's something that I just thought, I'm never gonna get into that. That's just for like the crazy drone nut guys that, live and breathe it. That's not me.
So in watching this, there's a few things that are standing out to me that I have questions about. One is, are we going to need a second type of drone, like a Mavic, to get more cinematic shots that don't give this crazy like flying camera? And
That's
two,
what I'm worried about, yeah.
Related to that is the field of view. So I love the look of a more telephoto lens on a drone. It gives this look that's harder to achieve maybe, and because of that, it's something we're not used to looking at, or we're used to looking at it on the big screen, where they've paid a lot of money to have a gimbal or to have a gyro or a helicopter or something like that. This looks like a very wide-angle field of view, which gives an exciting, intimate view. But are we going to need two different devices to kind of fill the gaps that the other ones leave?
So that is my biggest worry with this, is that the field of view is so wide that the footage doesn't really look as cinematic, for lack of a better word. And if that is the case, then this might not be the drone for me. I don't know that we're the type of people that require two different types of drone footage. I mean, do we really even use the drone?
Well, that's why I
often?
wonder if you can just, pop into the 1080 or 4K footage and get, a little bit less image quality,
Right.
a little bit less resolution, but still be able to, it'd be better to have a wide angle lens and punch in than it is to have a tighter lens but never be able to shoot wide.
And knowing DJI, I mean, they're so good about updating their drones and coming out with something that you buy this and you feel like, this is the greatest thing I could possibly imagine. It can't get better than this. And then in 6 months, they come out with the zoom version and you're like, damn it, I should have bought the one that has that. So then yours, its value drops in half overnight because of that. But I just feel like DJI, out of maybe even every brand, they're not just drones. It just seems like DJI is pushing the envelope to come out with new products, and not even in the drone industry. Like, they're coming out with microphones, they're coming out with they're coming out with like cinema cameras now and stuff. They're coming out with like a protocol to send wireless video.
Is it fair to say that DJI might be the most exciting brand in the photo industry today?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt.
Any doubt?
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any doubt at all. And it would be interesting if DJI got into cameras, and could really start pushing the envelope on, what we're seeing today on mirrorless cameras. But
now, one thing you're talking about having multiple drones and like redundancy and carrying a bunch of stuff. We obviously travel very, very light when we do tutorials with people or do bigger projects where we go to Alaska or New Zealand or wherever. You can buy, I assume, one goggles or one remote and then pair it up to multiple drones. So if you want to have, obviously you probably can't fly them at the same time, that wouldn't make sense. But if you wanted to have backup and redundancy, you could fit maybe 2 or 3 drones in a backpack, but then only have the gear needed to fly it one time, right? And that's gonna be less likely to break. You're not gonna break your goggles, but you're probably going to destroy a drone a little bit easier.
Yeah, and this drone by itself is only $629. Like, it's just crazy that smartphones cost over $1,000, and this is $629. I bought the one, that has everything. So it was like $1388 before tax. But
what do you think the battery life on these is going to be? I mean, are we talking like 10 or 11 minutes of fly time, or are we shorter than that, more than that?
I think it's going to be significantly less than a larger, slower drone.
What is the Mavic? Do you remember roughly the time frame?
People always say like, oh, it can go like 25 minutes or something. I can't remember the exact number, but I am so paranoid when I'm flying a drone that, when it hits like 40% battery, I'm like, we gotta get it back. Yeah. It's about to fall out of the sky. Yeah. So, as you can tell, I am very excited about this product. I at least never thought something like this would be coming out this soon, maybe 5-10 years from now. But the fact that you can get this for all under $1,500, you can run into stuff. It's not gonna hurt people. It's not gonna break. It can flip itself over.
One thing that it isn't, though, is waterproof, right?
I don't know. So,
have you ever you do a lot of kiteboarding, which I think would produce epic drone footage.
You're right.
And you're probably worried about flying a drone kiteboarding for several reasons. One, retrieving it if it falls and survives is gonna be hard. If it falls, it's probably gonna be destroyed because of water. And then also with kiteboarding and stuff, like you have cables and like lines and with an exposed prop, like you're worried about that too. And then the fourth thing was you're handling so much kiteboarding, you almost need somebody else to control it. But could you have the goggles on and control?
Oh, no.
It's too much work.
No. Well, how would I kiteboard if I'm looking through the drone? So anyway, as you can tell, I am very excited about this product. So far, with the 1 or 2 reviews that I've seen so far, it seems like it's legit. DJI usually makes incredible drones. I haven't really been let down before. So I'm sure we'll be making a video next week when the one we purchased came in.
And I guarantee you we'll have the only beautiful footage of Puerto Rico.
Well, that's true. Yeah, and DJI in the future, if you'd like to send us these a little early, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our full review coming up in a week or 2.